Hello, this is Charlene. We are going to create a linear inequality equation to solve this word problem. So let's start by reading our word problem. Stephanie spends 10 cents per text message, and she spends 25 cents per picture message. And she has a monthly budget for messaging, and that is $30. So the monthly budget, they are not using the words at least or at most, but they are setting a limit. They're saying they only have a budget of $30. So that is telling us our inequality. Our limit on the amount of money that we can spend is going to tell us about our inequality. That is the thing that we need to be either greater than or less than. Inequality. Okay, so let's think about this. They have given us information about the cost of the text message, and that limit is also in terms of money. So we're going to say we're going to have a limit of the $30. So we're going to put the $30 over here. And right here, we will put kind of a blank space. That's where we're going to put our inequality. And then they tell us about our text messages. They say that we have 10 cents is what we're going to pay for each text message. So 10 cents times some number of text messages would give us the cost of all of our text messages. Plus, we're going to spend 25 cents times some number of picture messages, and that would give us the cost of our text messages. So again, we need to just realize that we're talking about money and money and money. All of our units need to be the same. Okay, so do we want all of the cost of our text messages and picture messages to be more than our budget of 30 or less than our budget of 30? Well, we want it to be, it could be equal to it. We've got $30 to spend, so we can spend equal to $30, but we want all of our text messages and our picture messages to come in less than our budget, but not go over our budget. So right there is a good inequality that we can use to graph over here in order to figure out what the solution is to our question. How can we stay under the budget? That's the question. How can we stay under our $30 budget? Okay, so this format right here, this is actually standard form. AX plus BY is equal to C, but that's not as convenient to graph, so we are actually going to turn it into the slope-intercept form, so it's a little bit easier to graph. Okay, so let's look here. I am going to move what would be equal to the x's. The t's are equal to the x's. My p's are going to be equal to my y's. So I'm going to move the t's to the other side. So I'm going to end up with 0.25 times the number of picture messages is less than or equal to minus 10 cents times the number of text messages plus my $30 budget. But I need to get rid of this coefficient in front because I need to solve just for the y. So it's actually it's going to end up being in y equals mx plus b format, except that we'll have an inequality instead of an equal sign. Okay, so that means I'm going to divide everything by 0.25 in order to eliminate that 0.25 coefficient in front of the p-value, which is the same as my y value. Okay, so when I do that, these will cancel, and I will end up with p is less than or equal to, and I'm going to divide all these out. So let's pull up our calculator, and you'll see that I've already divided out 0.10 divided by 0.25. That gives me 0.4, so that's going to be negative 0.4 t's, and also my 30 divided by the 0.25 is going to give me 120. So it's going to be plus 120. So if you notice, that actually does give us that y equals mx plus b format. That makes it easy for us to graph it. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to graph this form of our equation over here on a graph. So we're going to go find 120. Okay, so we also need to understand that the y-axis up here is relating to my picture messages. These are my picture messages. Let me get a different color here. La, la, la. Okay, so let's do that one. Okay, so this is my y-axis. My y-axis is relating to my picture messages, and my x-axis is relating to my text messages. And I'm going to go ahead and list this as like, maybe should it be 20, right? Let's do 20. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, and 120. That's what I need right here. I need the 120. So I'm going to mark that as my starting place for my equation. And then my, my slope. Okay, let's think about this slope for just a second. It's got negative 0.4. Well, negative 0.4 is actually equal to negative 4/10. So that means that I can go down 4 and over 10, but can we reduce that? Let's think about that. That'd be negative 2/5. Okay, so this gets us to a fraction that is small enough that we can deal with it more easily. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to go down 2, and over 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then down 2 and over 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And down 2 and over 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Okay, so now let's go ahead and connect all those dots so that we can see what our graph is actually going to look like. Okay, so that is the graph of this line, and it also can be equal to it, so it is a solid line. We see this right here. It's less than or equal to. Well, if it's less than, P is less than that line, does that mean it's going to be up here or down here if it's less than? Well, if it's going to be less than, it's going to be down here. It's going to be under here, like it's a little bucket. They're leaning over and they're carrying a little bucket. So all of my possible combinations of text messages and pictures lie in this area. So we can choose one, as that is one. Our next question says, give 2 possible combinations to stay within our budget. Well, we can literally choose any point we want in the shaded area, because all of this is going to be shaded, all of this. Okay, so let's figure out what this point is equal to. So this would also be 20 and 40. That would be 50 right there. 50 and 60 and 70. Okay, so this point right here is 50, and it lines up with 50 over here. 50 and 50. That means that we could send 50 text messages and 50 picture messages, and we would stay under our budget of 30. We could also choose a different number. We could choose, let's do this one right here. Right there. Nope, let's not. Let's do this one. I'm going to erase this one. Okay, so we're going to choose this one. Okay, so that point is equal to 20, 40. So that means I could choose 20 text messages and 40 picture messages and still stay within my budget. So 2 possible combinations would be 50-50 and or 20-40. But any of the points that are in that shaded point would give me a number of text messages, a number of picture messages that I could send on my phone and still stay within my budget. So I hope that helps you understand how to think about this problem, how to create your linear inequality in order to solve it, and then to visually see it on the graph and see where any possible solutions would live. They would live underneath this graph in the shaded area. Okay, have a good day. Click on the subscribe button, click on the like button. We'll see you back soon.